Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I want to show you a technique that I sometimes use when I create landing pages. This technique is going to help you choose colors correctly every single time. And if you've seen my past tutorials on how to choose colors, we use a color generator, but in this case, a color generator would not work. So this is a perfect technique for landing pages. Now, before we begin, let me show you what we're going to be creating. So this is the landing page we're going to create. It's going to be based on this image right here. So if I scroll down here, you're going to start noticing that our colors are going to be pretty much working well, and that is because I've used the colors based on this image right here. So our first step is going to be done in Photoshop, and then I'm going to show you how to sample all the colors, and then into Divi I'm going to show you as well how to put everything together. Now before we get started, if you're brand new to web design and you'd like to learn how to design professional looking websites with Divi, I have an offer for you. If you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I'll give you access to my web design formula course that teaches you how to design professional looking websites with Divi. Secondly, I also have a template which will pretty much help you work faster in Divi. So this template is called Genesis. It's once you install it, it adds your headers and footers onto your website, and all you have to do is to go in and change colors. So it will drastically speed up your design workflow. All right, so without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let me show you how to create this page from scratch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the image that we're going to be using, and this is the image right here. Now I intentionally chose an image that's quite difficult to work with. So even if you have this image right here, it's going to be hard to just guess the colors you want to work with. So I want to show you now how you can achieve this. So by the way, if you want to use the exact same image and follow along step by step with me, I will leave a link to this in the video description below. And also, I'm going to be using Photoshop in this. So if you want to learn or take your design skills to the next level, I have a course, a Photoshop for web designers course. I'll leave the link to that in the video description below. And also, if you're brand new to Divi and you'd like to learn how to design awesome looking websites with Divi, if you buy it using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my Divi blueprint course. All right, so let's get started here. So first of all, let's go to Photoshop. So I just want to get rid of this and let's drag our Photoshop document here. Okay, so this is the image here. I've just added it onto my Photoshop document. So what I'm going to do is to first of all duplicate this. So let me just get myself out of the screen here. So we want to duplicate this just in case we make mistakes on the top one. So to duplicate, I'm going to press down Command and press J. If you're on a PC, it's Control J. Okay, so now we have these two right here on our layers. Okay, now to pick our colors, what you need to do is to choose your color picker. So I want to come over here to my foreground color, and now you can see I have my color picker now active. So you now have to decide which colors you want to use. So the rule of thumb is choose colors which have a bit of contrast, like a light color, dark color, and so on. So let's see what we can achieve here. So I'm going to start and sample a color from here. So I'm going to go with this one right here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle based on that color. So I'm just going to say okay. And then I'm just going to draw a rectangle here like that. Okay, so let's duplicate this a few times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key and then just drag this so I can have a few of these. Just like that. So as I'm dragging, I'm holding down the Option key or the Alt key. Okay, now let's go back in and let's start creating our color palette. So now we have this color already, so that's good. Now I've clicked on the second one. So all I'm have to do now is to come over here to the layer and I'm going to double click on it. Okay, so now I can sample and choose a different color. So let's go with this color right here. Okay, I'm going to say okay. So now we have some light colors. We need a bit of dark colors now. So I'm going to press and I'm going to click here on this third one, double click on my layers, and then I'm just going to sample a dark color. So we're going to go with that one. Or maybe we can take a color here from our pencil. Yes, that would work fine. Let's click on the next one and let's see if we can get another shade of a dark color. So I'm going to double click, and this time I'm just going to go into the wood and see what color we get from here. So you may want to click this a few times until you get the desired color that you're looking for. Just going to continue here. Okay, I think that works okay. Now let's go for one more. So I'm going to click here, double click on the layer. And this time I want to choose a color. Okay, not that one. Okay, let's go with this color right here from this wool. And click OK. Right, so this is the colors that we managed to create from our image. So it doesn't really matter where you get the colors from, because as you will see, once we start using these colors, you'll see that everything is going to blend very well because these are colors from the actual image. So let me show you again quickly that you can also use colors from here. You don't have to use, you just have to choose which colors work well. So for example, let's say instead of using this color here, I could double click and maybe take the color of the crochet like that. Actually, you know what? I even like that better. So I'm going to go with that. So this is now our color palette. So all you have to do now is to copy the values of these colors and add them onto Divi's theme options. So let me show you how to do that. Right. So now I just need to drag this. Now I use two monitors, but of course you don't need two monitors to achieve this. So I'm going to switch over here to Divi, and then I'm going to click on theme options. So this is where we need to add the colors that we've just chosen. So let me find my Photoshop document, and it is right here. I'm just going to drag it over here to my second monitor. Oh, in fact, I need to show you this part. So let's do that. So to choose your colors, what you need to do is to click here on the layer, and you can see my layer 1 here is activated. Double click on it, and you're going to get this value here. So this is the value that you want to add onto your Divi color palette. So I'm going to start here with the first one, paste my color like that, move on to the next one. So bring this back, click here, oops, cancel that. Okay, so let's move on to the next color, and it's going to be this one right here. Double click on that, I'm going to copy my color. So we need to continue doing this until we've added all our colors. So I think you get the idea. So in your case, just continue doing that until you've added all your colors. So this one here is my next one. Double click on that, copy my colors, and I'm going to paste it in here. Move on to the next one. So I know this is a bit tedious, but you know what? This is very important to get these colors added in once and for all. And then once they're added, it'll be easier for you to work with them. Okay, so let's add on next color in here. Move on to, I think this is the final one, is it? Let's have a look. Cancel that. Okay, I'm going to go with that one. Let's paste it into position. I think I'm missing one more color. Yes, I am. So I'm just going to add my final color, copy the value, and paste it in here. So once I've added all my colors, what I'm going to do now is for these three, these colors are not from our color palette. So normally what I do is to just add them as white so that I don't get confused. So I'm just going to go to the next one, just add white, and then do that to the last one. All right, so now I've added my main colors here for my color palette. So that is looking great. All I have to do now is to save. And let us go now and create our color palette. Okay, so it looks like everything is all saved. I'm going to go to pages, click on all pages. So here I can just create a brand new one. And let's just call this page landing. Use Divi Builder. Right, so let's build this from scratch. So what we're going to do here is let's add a full width header. So we're going to come over here to full width header. And then I'm just going to go in here and change this layout to full screen. We're going to save this for now. Let's delete this top section because we don't need that. And now it's time to add our image. And before we do that, you notice that we have this ugly footer here, So let's address this right now. Now, you can do this by going into Theme Builder and creating your headers and footers from scratch. But you know what? I have a template that I'm actually selling for $9. It's called the Genesis template. This template pretty much just makes it easier for you to start designing your headers and footers by giving you a foundation. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is what our page looks like without the header and footer. So I'm going to come back over here to Dashboard, Divi, Theme Builder. So I just want to show you how awesome this template is. So I'm going to come over here to Portability, click on Import, and then I'm going to click here on Selected File. So I know mine is on the desktop. So I'm just going to search for it. Here it is. I'm going to double click on it and then click Import Theme Builder. So this template, what it does is it adds a header, a footer, and also a 404 page and a search results page. So this will just save you time while you're designing your websites. So I just want to show you now, this is now imported. All you have to do now is to click on Save Changes, and then you just go to all your pages, and let's go to the landing page and view it. So you'll notice now that we're going to have a header here, and now we have a footer. So all we have to do is to add a logo, and I'll show you how to do that towards the end. Okay, so let's go in and let's work on our design here. So I'm going to click Enable Visual Builder. So now we are going to start off by adding our background image. So I'm going to click here on my settings, snap this over to the left, and I'll go all the way down here to the background. So what I'm going to do is add a background image. So I'm going to click here on this plus button and let's go to our media library. So this is our image, upload image. So as you can see now, we have our image here in the background. That's looking great. So we don't want to really distract what we have here in the background. So what we can do is there's several ways we can do this. We can add a gradient over here on the left, or we can just add a background color on this text. So let's start working on our text. So I am going to save changes. Let's add another section. So I'm going to come over here to regular. Let's go with single column first. Let's add a text module. Okay, so here's going to be our, let's pretend this is going to be our heading. Come over here to design, text, and let's center this. So I'm going to come over here and center it. So when you take a look here, you can see now we have our colors. So each color or whatever color you're going to use here is pretty much going to work. So even if I go with this dark one, you can see it's sampled from here. So that's going to work well. Go for all caps and let's increase the size a little bit, and let's add some letter spacing. Let's make it bold. There we go. All right, so that's going to act as our heading. Now let's add another one, another section, and this time we are going to have a blurb. So I just want to show you how cool this color palette is going to work with this. So let's say title 1. And for the dummy text here, I'm just going to get rid of the text a little bit. And for the image, should we add an image? No, let's use an icon. So I'm going to come over here. And the icon we're going to go with is, okay, let's go with this one here. I don't know what that is, but let's go with that. Okay, now let's play around with the background. So you can see already, just by adding that background, it's not too far from what we have here on the image. Now let's go and further customize this. And by the way, you can choose whether you want to have a darker background, a light background, and so on. So I'm going to start off with, let's start with that one. So I'm going to go over here to design, spacing, and I'm going to give some padding to this so we can have some breathing space. And we also need to do this to the left and the right. There we go. Now let's give this some rounded corners. So I'm just going to set this to about, let's go with 6. And then let's go in and customize what we have here. So first of all, our color here, let's change it to, even that really works well. It's very subtle, but it looks really, really nice. But of course, you can play around with different options, but I want to keep it very subtle here. Now let's go to the text, and over here on the text, we can center it. And let's make it all caps as well. Change this to bold. Now let's change the color. So we're going to go with that color. Now let's go for the paragraph text. So here, we're going to center it as well. And let's go with, let's have a look. I think that color works fine as well. So let's go with that. So you can see here it's very subtle and it really works. So what I'm going to do next here is to just adjust my icon size. So I'm going to bring it down a bit to about 50. And finally, I want to add a bit more space on the top and the bottom here. So let's go to our padding, to our spacing. Okay, so let's add a bit more. So let's go with, okay, let's leave it at 43. So I'm going to save that. So you can see that is now done. Let's play around with more colors here. So I'm going to bring it over here. And this time, I'm going to change my background color. So I'm going to come over here to background, and this time we're going to go for a darker version. So I'm going to go with that one, and let's change the text. So again, I'm going to use the same colors that I have on my color palette. Let's go to our paragraph text. Okay, let's go with that. And by the way, you can just test and see which colors are working well here. So you just have to keep an eye on the design and make the decisions of what is working. So you know what? I'm pretty much happy with this. Save this. Let's duplicate this one more time and use another set of colors and see how that looks. So let's go into our settings, background. This time we're going to go with the dark one, and we could leave these colors as they are because they read very well. So yeah, you know what? Let's leave that. And there's one more thing I need to do here, and that is to change the icons. So I'm going to go back over here. In fact, you know, this icon color needs to change. Okay, now that looks more consistent. Okay. And you know what? I'm undecided. Let me go back in and change my colors one more time. So let's go to the icon here. So let's go with this color. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, now let's go to the heading. Change that. Paragraph. Change that. Okay, so now you can see we've pretty much used all our colors from our color palette. And then all you have to do now is to go in and say title 3. And this one here is title 2. And that's looking great. And now we can save. So you can see here that our design is pretty much on point just from choosing our colors from our image. Now let me show you one more thing that you can do. So I'm going to click here and add a new section. So I'm going to go with a regular, and let's go with, right, let's go with a single column. And in there, let's add a text module. Right, so here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a background color. And the color, oops, nope, I need to add the color on the section itself. So I'm going to come over here and add my background color. So pretty much I can go with any color that I want here. So I can go with this dark one, I can go with this one here. So it's up to me what I go with. So I want to go with that, and I've changed my mind. I want to have 2 columns. And in one of the columns, I'm going to add an image. I'm going to select it. Now let's go to our library here and see what images we have. So I'm just going to go with a random image here. Let's go with the, you know what? Let's go with this lady. There we go. So now I can save changes, and then I'm just going to add a bit of color to this. So I'm going to go into design. Then we need to go into text. In fact, you know what? I'll just click on this little icon and choose my color. And that's looking much better now. I'm going to save that. And then I'm just going to add some margins. And there we go. If we want to, we can duplicate this. And for this one here, let's change the background color. And this time we're going to use a lighter color. And as you can see, it's so effortless. As I'm doing this, it just makes it easier for you to have colors that work well together. And I'm sure you can agree with me. So now let's change colors by clicking here on this brush tool. And I'm going to go with, yeah, either of these will work fine. So let me go with that one there. Save. And as you can see, in fact, let's change this image. And this time we're going to go with, let's go with this one here. There we go. Save that. So as you can see, this is looking really, really, really nice. So all I have to do now is to go into my section here and just add a bit of padding. Give this enough breathing space. Okay. We need to do the same here. And I'm going to add it to both sides, the top and the bottom. And finally on the last one here, same thing. Click on this chain. So now that's our layout. So what I'm going to do now over here on the top is to go in and play around with this a bit more. So first of all, I'm going to come over here and see if we can add a background to this. Or in fact, you know what? Let's add a gradient. So I'm going to come over here, click on this plus button. And the gradient we're going to add is going to come from our colors. So I'm going to click on this color here, or either of these will do anyways. And then on the second one, I'm going to go for white. And then let's go to the image. And for our blending mode on the image, we're going to set this to multiply. There we go. Now, all I have to do is to go back onto my gradient and let's play around with the gradient direction. And we're going to set this to 90 degrees. And now you can see this part here is the part that's dark. So I can also set my start and end position here like that. So let's go with about 65. In fact, maybe down to about 52. Save. Now, all I have to do now is to go in and set my width. I'm going to click here on design. Let's go to sizing. And let's set our content width to about 48. And now let's change our colors. Let's go with our lighter colors so that it reads much better from the background. And then over here on the button, we can also go into custom styles for button and let's add our text color and we're going to go with the dark one. And then for our background color, we're going to go with that, or we can go with this color here if we need to. So we have a lot to choose from. Okay, so now that we have that all set, let us make this all caps. And we have a border here, don't we? Get rid of that. Now, let me go ahead and just make a few customizations to the button here by adding some padding. So I'm just going to increase this to about 20 and then left and right. Let's bring this down to about 60. In fact, you know what? That's a bit too much for this button. So let's go down to about 12. Okay, so that's looking great. All I have to do now is to make sure my text here is dark because right now my text color doesn't look great. So let's change this to a darker color. All right, so now I can save and pretty much this is our landing page. And if we take a look at it, our colors totally match. And that is because we've used the colors from our image. Okay, so go ahead, try it out and see how it works. Pretty much this technique works with any image and you're guaranteed to have colors that work well together. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.